Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Friday, July 6th. This is Gina McGuire. Over the next couple of days, we will continue to see thunderstorms spread north and west across the Great Basin. Today, most notably over the eastern and southern half of Utah into the Arizona Strip, with a few isolated thunderstorms possibly in the Spring Mountains down in southern Nevada. On Saturday and Sunday, these thunderstorms push a little bit further west and north, with the best potential for drier lightning being over southern and eastern Nevada into western Utah tomorrow, and then continuing in these same areas on Sunday. The area in yellow over Utah over the next couple of days is showing a mix of wet and dry thunderstorms, and you can see that transition to more wetter thunderstorms as we move into Sunday over these areas that really need the rainfall. As far as wind concerns, we'll see breezy winds over northwest and western Nevada today, but relative humidity will be slightly higher than what we've seen in recent days, but will be dropping on Saturday and Sunday with that gusty wind, low humidity threat over much of western and northern Nevada through Sunday. Looking at the last 24 hours, we did have thunderstorms over the eastern half of Utah yesterday, which were mainly on the drier side, otherwise dry conditions across the basin. Over the last 24 hours, we saw moderate initial attack across the Great Basin with new large fires over northern Nevada. Over the last 7 days, precipitation was mainly up into central Idaho and Wyoming, with dry conditions and very hot temperatures over the rest of the Great Basin. And even over the last 30 days, we've seen these very dry and warm conditions over much of Utah, Nevada, and the Arizona Strip. How this has affected our fuel conditions: ERCs are still above the 97th percentile over much of Utah, but are on the downward trend over southern areas as that moisture moved up yesterday, but it will take a few days before these ERCs drop below critical thresholds in the south. Further west into eastern, northeast Nevada, and northern Utah, ERCs are in the 80th to 90th percentile, and even areas over western Nevada up into Idaho, where ERCs are still below the 70th percentile. We have significant carryover fine fuels and new grass growth from this year, which is contributing to large fire spread and active fire behavior over the northern portion of Nevada. Looking at our ERC graphs real quick, over Utah, areas where ERCs are above the 97th percentile puts these ERCs near or above records for the time of year. Over northeast Nevada, ERCs are rising rapidly, similar to where we were this time last year, and will be approaching records in the coming days. Live fuel moistures continue to be on the downward trend and are near record lows across much of the eastern and southern half of Utah, and are below normal now over parts of eastern and northern Nevada. The satellite loop from this morning shows the strong ridge of high pressure over the Four Corners area, which is allowing that deeper moisture from what was Hurricane Fabio off the California coast, is pulling some of that moisture into western Nevada today in the form of mid and high level cloud cover with only a few light rain sprinkles. No lightning is expected today over western Nevada. We will see that deeper moisture from the monsoon continue to push north into Utah today, with thunderstorms developing later this afternoon and back into southern Nevada. Looking at the weather pattern for later today, again you can see that moisture across much of the eastern and southern half of Utah, the Arizona Strip, and southern Nevada, which is where we expect our dry lightning again today, with gusty outflow winds. Therefore, we are certainly expecting new fire starts with the potential for large fires in this area colored in red. Over far northwest Nevada, we are seeing some moisture that was shown on the satellite image, which again, most of the showers and thunderstorms will be located over northern California and Oregon, but relative humidity will be elevated over western Nevada today. Looking at the weather picture, again, you can see where those isolated thunderstorms are in the image on the left. And as far as the wind picture, gusty winds in far northwest Nevada today, possibly as far east as the Martin Fire, but the strongest winds will be further west. Again, relative humidity along the Sierra front slightly elevated. You can see the wind potential over in Utah, which is mainly indicative of the outflow wind gusts associated with thunderstorms. As we move into Saturday, some of the deeper moisture moves west and north across Utah and into southern and eastern Nevada, so we will see the potential for dry lightning a little bit further north and west on Saturday, again into eastern and southern Nevada and continuing across Utah. We will also see winds pick up over northwest and western Nevada, with relative humidity decreasing from what we'll see today. So again, that potential for any ongoing incidents obviously in those areas will be affected by the wind and dry conditions. You can see the image on the left showing where those thunderstorms will be located on Saturday. They may move a little bit further north up into White Pine County. However, for the most part, will be located over the southeast portion of Nevada into Utah. Again, gusty outflow winds are indicative over on the map on the right, and those gusty winds on Saturday increasing along the Sierra front into northwest Nevada. By Sunday, a very similar picture with the exception of the thunderstorm shifting slightly further west into parts of central Nevada and possibly into southern Elko County. So we have indicated again that continued risk of dry lightning, and also those gusty winds and dry conditions continue over western and northwest Nevada. So on Sunday, you can see where those isolated storms are located, again creeping up into parts of central Nevada and northeast Nevada. And the wind image on the right shows stronger winds on Sunday than what we'll see today and Saturday over western and northwest Nevada, along with continued low relative humidity, and the potential for gusty outflow winds in areas where we see thunderstorms over the eastern half of the Great Basin. Overall forecast amounts of precipitation with these thunderstorms will be gradually increasing each day, especially across the Arizona Strip into southern and central areas of Utah as we get later this weekend. Only light amounts of rainfall are likely over much of eastern Nevada. As we go into early next week, this moisture remains in place across the eastern half of the Great Basin, again targeting some of the same areas from eastern and southern Nevada eastward. We may see that activity move north with thunderstorms pushing into Idaho and especially northeast Nevada on Monday. So the greatest threat for drier lightning will be over northeast Nevada and northwest Utah on Monday, but potentially could move north into Idaho while that moisture pushes north for a brief period of time before shifting eastward. Other areas further south, you can finally see some of the dryness levels shifting to yellow as we see that moisture in place for a few days. So we will see some of our areas of the Arizona Strip and Utah seeing decreasing fire potential eventually as we go into next week. On Tuesday, again, the moisture remains in place over much of eastern Idaho back into northeast, eastern, and southern Nevada. Still, western and northwest Nevada remain dry through Tuesday, with again all of the activity off to the east. We haven't issued any high risk yet, but we will be watching the moisture. Depending on some areas in the north and west, may see some potential for dry lightning. On Wednesday, again, the moisture starts to creep a little bit further westward into parts of western Nevada, so we may see some thunderstorms begin developing over western areas of the state by the middle of next week, and we will continue to watch that for the potential of high risk. On Thursday, the moisture finally starts to push a little bit further north and west, so much of Nevada and Utah will see thunderstorm activity. So the main risks for the mid to late portion of next week will again be the western and northern fringes of these areas of lightning that move into areas that haven't seen any precipitation recently through this weekend into early next week. 7-day precipitation total, again, seeing more significant amounts of rainfall potential in Utah, the Arizona Strip, and parts of southern eastern Nevada as we get into next week. Again, further north and west, dry conditions remain, with most of the lightning that eventually will push into those areas being on the dry side. The 8 to 14-day outlook shows still warm temperatures over much of the Great Basin, and that above normal precipitation signature continues over the Arizona Strip, Utah, and southern Nevada, with drier conditions further north up into Idaho. So we will likely be seeing our fuels becoming more critical across Idaho and becoming less critical over southern areas as we get towards the second and third week in July. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.